Lol Doll's hat tonight. I think this one's for like little babies. Don't know if it works with this wig because of where I've got it tied up here. It doesn't quite go down properly. There's all my braids back there as well. It's getting a bit crowded back there with all this shit on my head. There's quite a lot of shit on my head when I think about it. With all of the volume of this wig and the hat and all of my braid and all the trinketry therein. That's a lot of shit on my head. And hair in my mouth. What was I going to go on about? Yeah, kind of. This is like a bit of a follow-on from. I don't like this hat with this wig. There's my other hat on. There. I think a little bit of the kind of narcissistic therapy and a little bit of the anxiety thing. Here we go. There we go. Yeah, the insightful narcissist. Because it does sort of strike me sometimes how I've had a lot of very therapeutic attention, and it is therapeutic because there is a kind of therapy to doing it, and there is a lot involved in like what I show off, basically. But I get to the point. I think what it is, I annoy myself. I'm dicking myself off, going, "You're right, twat, fucking shut up." But then that was an argument I was having with myself. Not an argument, a discussion I was having with myself earlier about how I'm not allowed to like anything, no matter what I like, and for whatever reason. There's always a part of me that I can feel going, "Oh yeah, that's only because." Insert fucking self-deprecating sensation. That's what it is. It's not a feeling. It's a sensation. But it means something. It means this has happened, or this is this. It draws a line under a statement of existence. So I always knew it as an uneasy feeling, a weird. Ugh. And when I studied schemotherapy and found out what they all were and what they all meant, I was double fucked. It made me worse. It made me worse at therapy. Making me understand it. It's like I was then told I was too intelligent. I'm sorry, I'll get thicker. Pancakes, skipping. You know what I mean? What am I supposed to fucking do with that? You know what your problem is? You're too intelligent. That in and of itself sets off an abundance of Mikey logic. It's like, hang on, you're saying that I'm more intelligent than you, so why is it you that needs to explain it to me then? Why do you think I don't know? If you think I'm cleverer than you are, why do you have to say it like that? You know what your problem is? No, I've no idea. I've never considered it before this day. You worry too much. You think too much. Whatever, you too much. But yeah, that's why it was nice. I mean, maybe it's more appealing to people who don't know me so well. Maybe people who are like closer to me as friends get more annoyed with me. Perhaps I don't know. I don't know. But I've often said I work better as a fucking sideshow, and like I didn't really know this guy. But he'd been watching me as like whatever I am as a sideshow. I'm a lot of different sideshows. I've got quite a few different hats, like not just woolly ones, metaphorical too. He said metaphorically, using like a combination of like reality and a metaphor and a metaphor. What was the other thing? The anxiety thing, yeah. That was the other point of it. That was the other point of it, actually. Like, with me, it's that negativistic thing when I feel like I'm being helped or I feel like I'm being. It's a form of bullying. It makes me react as if I'm being bullied. You know, like taking it. If someone takes something out of my hand and does it for me, it's like I respond as if they're saying you worthless shit or something. You know what I mean? It's really hard for me to take. And there's a lot of people in society that instantly dismiss that and force it upon you. Ow, let me see. And they will deliberately fucking poke at you for it. And it's like, it's not that fucking, it's not that simple. It's not that simple. But, so when you put yourself in a position of explaining something to someone, we all do this one, you tend to talk to them like they're a kid or stupid, or a little bit stupid. You've got your explaining voice, and what you're doing is stepping into a role. You're stepping into, like, I think that would be like a parent-child role in transactional analysis. But I'm sure the version of it is also in games people play. Read those books if you want to think you've got everyone figured out. You're one step ahead of everyone, and it'll make you hate people. That the point is, you're putting them in a position of the child, the learner, the student, the one who has to shut the fuck up and listen. And then once you're in that role, any challenge to your information, that it's partly why you react so strongly to it, why you're so defiant about it. Of course, the other thing is, that's your own ego. It's your own paradigm is being challenged. Something that you believe is being challenged. You believed it for a long time, and your subconscious starts to panic and thinks, no, 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 this can't be real. And so you shout and you express it instantly. And that was like what you experienced with a fucking fleeting 2-second glimpse of what it's like to be schizotypal. Only you can't stop it this time. It happens anyway. That panic feeling when you start to shout and say, no, no, that is a fear panic. That is a fear shout. You're attacking as a form of defense. You're defending your paradigms. That's why you become rude. But that's why you need to, like, fucking be mindful of that. Be insightful of yourself and think, I will tend to stomp in there and try and fix it. I need to be mindful of that. I need to be mindful that this is not my shit. This is not my shit. I need to be impartial. I need to walk through it with them. I don't need to challenge it. I don't need to understand it. Not really. If I don't understand it, stop trying to and look at the damage it does. You can understand it better when you look at how significant it is and how overwhelming it can be for that person, and the actual realities that they face with it is enough evidence to tell you it. But the problem is that people look at whatever they think they understand and look at it as a minor thing, and so they see all of the behaviours as an exaggeration. And it's not how it looks. It's not how it looks. So, you know, it's people are feeling sheepish anyway. Even if they've been honest and said, look, I get anxious and whatever, there's no point telling them not to worry. It's like I say, it's anxiety. They will get anxious. They're going to get anxious. That's what you both need to accept. They're going to get anxious because they're an anxious person. It's not a failure if they get anxious. It's just a confirmation that they need a bit of help and they need a bit of support. That's all. You don't, like, well, that's the thing. If you start to take charge of the situation, you'll instantly, will subconsciously, without even realising it, put yourself in a position of superiority over them. Is the point. The parent-child thing. It's a position of superiority, and why that is important is if that person has got something like PTSD and it came from a superior figure, that is what will unsettle them. And again, this could be unconscious, subconscious, easily subconscious, or massively subconscious with a bit of it that you think you can see through and you think is your subconscious. But while you're both on the subject of, you listen to me, I need to tell you this, and you need to think this, and you need to think that, da 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 da, it's not going to be therapeutic. It's not a therapeutic interaction. Where's the therapy? There isn't any. I'm telling you, there's no therapy there. There's no meeting of the minds that you need in therapy. You need to have an agreed conclusion because people are unsure of themselves. They need to have things fed back to them and read back to them, and they need to hear themselves say it and shit like that. That's not your job. That's not your job. Your job is to roll with it. Really, roll with it. Be gentle with them. Because, you know, like, sometimes you get people who really even make a big deal. Oh, you made it. Oh, wow. Kind of, are you all right? And, like, you know, again, making it a thing. That's enough to make a lot of people anxious. You know? And, try and fucking stop it. Try and fucking stop it. Like, I've been told how I was behaving in a room after I was behaving that way without even realising it. People saying your foot was going mental. Your eyes were going like that. I was like, was it? And at the time, I was just like, just in my head. A bit kind of anxious, but, you know, whatever. That sort of shit. Sometimes, like I've always said, it can just be me in my head. And my body just expresses. But then when stuff like that gets said to me, it's like, that makes me anxious. That then makes me anxious of, oh my God, is my foot moving? Oh my God, how am I sitting? Oh my God, and my hyper awareness, my hyper focus of ADHD kicks in on how am I coming across? Am I coming across as anxious? Well, if you're checking hurriedly to see if you're coming across as anxious, by default you come across as anxious. And someone telling you to just chill or whatever, it's not the way for a lot of people. It can work, you know, telling someone to stop and breathe and whatever, but you know, most people will do that when they're with someone and it'll work, and then they try it on their own and it doesn't, and shit like that happens, and they've got experience of that happening. They're not there for a crash course in shouting therapy and forcing things upon them therapy. But it's being mindful of roles people play and roles people like automatically slip into. And people can be really fucking susceptible. So over persuasive people can push people too fast, too fast, too much, or whatever, and call it a success. And it rarely is. It rarely fucking is. Because there's no therapy in that. There's no therapy in just being the boss of someone. Which is why I said no to that lady who offered me, well, just Blato's asked me a question was her first sentence, was asking me a question. And the same as the woman that like molested me in a nightclub several times and said, you're going to fucking regret it. It's like, no, thank you, I won't. It's not therapeutic. It's not therapeutic. It doesn't help. What does help is rolling with it. Find out how you can help them if they get anxious. What happens when they get anxious, specifically feelings, and how can you help? Loads of different things, changing of environment and all that sort of shit. But just don't tell them as well, do this and do that, because you'll be expecting the result to work because you want it to work, because you have a paradigm that it works. So you'll be telling them it's worked when they haven't, and they just can't see it, and that sort of shit, and that'll just confuse them. And if they're like me, they'll be walking away going, yeah, again, I've got to reinterpret reality as to not what it just seems like. You'll end up hilarious like this. Anyway, I don't think I did as well as I thought I was going to do in this video. I thought I had some really good shit planned, but I think my point stands about it. There's far too much aggressive, unprofessional, unqualified, unquestionable, immovable therapy out there, and I think it's making a lot of people worse. I really do. I think it's pushing a lot of shit back underground and not processing it properly, and people have been miseducated in when people air their thoughts as all you do is you know, sometimes I can read something on Facebook and it's almost the same sentence about 9 times in a row. Sometimes it's like, it's, you know, they just become meaningless. Anyway, angels all around you.